Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I'm your host, Jeff Hootselle, and the Chief Cloud Officer with Auditmacs. For those of you guys that haven't watched our show before, we are a conversation show. We talk with IT leaders and subject matter experts in all fields of technology and really talk to them about things that are happening in the industry right now. We'll talk about current events. We also talk a lot about new technologies that are kind of on the verge and things that are impacting the world around us. We always have great guests on the show. Today is no different. Today we are joined from Newtown, Connecticut. We're joined from Dylan Lew from Ecotone Renewables. Dylan, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Nice to see you all.
Yeah, so Dylan, Ecotone, you guys you're closing the food loop by utilizing food waste through anaerobic digestion technology. That sounds awesome, but for guys like me, I need you to break it down a little bit. Explain to me. So what does that really mean? What are you guys doing? Can I tell me about the mission of the company and what you're all about?
Yeah, definitely. So we're kind of completely focused on closing the food loop, and we're right now working in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And the anaerobic digestion technology works kind of similar to stomach. That's kind of the easiest way we explain it. And so we basically have a holding tank with special bacteria and microbes, and we feed it kind of ground and slurried food waste. And then the bacteria kind of break down the food waste and produce like a naturally derived fertilizer. And throughout that process, we also kind of capture the methane gas that's naturally produced. And we can actually run that gas through a generator to then produce renewably sourced energy.
Wow. So talk to me a little bit about the problem we're talking about here. I mean, one of the stats that really surprised me was 40% of the food produced today goes into a landfill. That's correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Scary number.
Yeah, it's a huge number. It sounds crazy when we talk a lot about, especially now with the some great charities out there like Feeding America and some of the the different folks that are really in need of that food. And we talking about 40% waste of the overall production. So there's obviously we'd love to put that stuff to better use, but also the environmental impact of that. Talk about what that waste means, not just the fact that it sounds terrible that we're throwing away 40% of our food, but what impact does that have on the environment?
Yeah, so degrading food waste actually emits a ton of methane gas throughout the world. And it's actually about, I think, a little over 8% of all global greenhouse gas emissions are just from food waste degrading in landfill. So it's definitely a huge environmental issue. And kind of our mission is to divert that food waste, and instead of just having it kind of rot in landfill, is to actually use that food waste, kind of recapture the nutrients within it, and also then recapture revenue.
Right. So that food waste you guys are taking, you're reprocessing, and it's going back in the form of really fertilizers and going back into kind of that food cycle. Because I guess the alternative, if you don't do it naturally, becomes what, synthetic fertilizers, I guess, or the alternative to that?
Exactly.
So you're kind of doubling down, right? So we've got the food waste, you've got the methane gas that are being released, and then you've got all the ill effects that come from the synthetic fertilizers also.
Exactly, yeah. And actually the production of synthetic fertilizers uses a ton of energy, so we're also avoiding kind of that extensive energy use, which is also good.
Yeah. So it sounds like a great thing. You mentioned you guys are kind of prototyping this. You're in beta mode with some of the folks in Pennsylvania. You said is your first kind of market?
Yeah, so we built our first system in East Liberty in Pittsburgh, and we've kind of been doing a full year of beta testing just to kind of learn from our system and kind of perfect it. And so now we're kind of getting to the stage where we're ready to expand and build more systems and kind of see the impact that we can have in our community.
Yeah. So Dylan, as a CTO for this company, you guys are growing, you're kind of building out all the infrastructure and things like today. What has that experience been like for you?
Yeah, it's definitely been kind of a multifaceted experience, I would say. So kind of being a part of the startup world, you're definitely wearing a lot of different hats. So I kind of was brought onto the team as a materials engineer focused on the storage of the methane gas that we capture. And then my role has kind of evolved, and I've kind of taken the role of pitching at competitions with my teammates and kind of 3D modeling our system, doing tests on our system. So it definitely changes every day, but it's been an amazing experience.
Yeah. So what drew you to the company in the first place? Kind of how did you pick this as something you wanted to get involved with?
Yeah, so I've kind of always been passionate about kind of renewable energy technology. And this was kind of a little different with that component of agriculture technology. So I was definitely interested in that and learning more about it. And kind of the company mission of closing the food loop was something that like very much appealed to me.
So Dylan, you've got kind of your model built out now. I'm sure it's continuing to evolve, but now I guess it's the adoption phase of how do we get people to actually try it and get started with it. So for folks that are hearing this, they're becoming aware of the challenge that exists today and some of the resulting effects of this food waste. How can they find out more about you guys and maybe get involved in some of your mission and some of the things you guys are doing?
Yeah, so I actually built us a website, so you can visit us at ecotonerenewables.com. And definitely either just contacting us or reaching out. We can kind of price out systems and see like if it makes sense and how much it would reduce waste hauling fees for your business. And that's kind of like the first step we take.
No, that's great. That's great. And you're obviously a pretty sharp guy in doing this, and you got your hands in a bunch of different areas. Now, I also hear you're also going to be working with NASA, an internship coming up. Is that true?
Yeah, so I'm going to be working for NASA this summer. They actually moved it to remote work, so I'll be working from home, which will be nice because it'll be safe. And for NASA, I'll be working on durable ceramic materials.
Very cool. Well, it sounds like you got a lot of good stuff going on. You're definitely doing some things, hopefully, to help out our planet. And then who maybe knows, you'll help develop some stuff to get us to other planets out there as they continue to push for the rocket launch this weekend
Definitely.
and some of the other exciting things happening in that world over there. So, well,
Definitely,
Dylan, hey,
yeah, working on.
yeah, it's some fascinating stuff. Very cool stuff. We're happy to have you on to teach us a little more about some things that are happening there and some of these new environmental opportunities we have to do some good. So if you guys are out there and you're seeing this, you're interested, go check out the website, learn more about Ecotone Renewables and what they're doing out there. And Dylan, thank you so much for joining us today and telling us more about the company and kind of your mission.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Jeff. It was a pleasure.
All right, great. Hey, and thank you guys for joining as well. As always, you can check out Auditmacs and check out the Tech Talk videos like Dylan's and others on our website. We look forward to hearing you again soon.